Hey guys, this is Pharaoh 2091, and welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Last time we left off, we heard a whole bunch of truth coming out from Godot, or should I say, Diego Armando. You guys hopefully should have known who this was from the very beginning, or at least from Case 4, because there was a lot of things that were kind of there, to show you that, yeah, it really was him. The whole coffee thing, the theme playing at the end of the Case 4, his mannerisms, and the way he would talk, and the way he would, act and, pose, kind of the same thing like Godot did. And if you kind of look closely, even his clothes, it looks like a color palette switch. That's basically it. So, yeah, you guys should have realized that, but, well, now we're going to hear the final testimony from Maya about the time of the murder, and we'll hopefully put this thing to rest very soon. Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights. 3 of them. I thought I asked for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead though, and she struck back at an enemy behind her. Suddenly, the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. Right after that, Dahlia collapsed and I lost consciousness. These red lights. I thought you said you didn't remember seeing them. I'm sorry. I thought I saw them, but then they disappeared all of a sudden. Ha! Things break, Wright. Even the best of theories. Who was it that stabbed Misty Faye? It looks like you still can't prove it. Maya's telling the truth this time. I know it. The rest is up to me. Well then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your final cross-examination of the witness. Okay. Alright. We can get this done. First thing first. She said she saw red lights. 3 of them. What else has 3 red lights? Lights shining in the dark? I don't think you can make a mistake about that. Yeah, you're right. I think I saw them, but I can't say for certain. And I can't tell you for sure that they were from Mr. Godot's mask either. I don't get the feeling she's covering for him anymore, but still, press harder. But just after that, you turned towards the lights and called for help. Isn't that because you thought the lights were coming from Mr. Godot's mask? Yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's what I thought. Maybe that's what I was thinking at the time. But I can't remember. After all, there was a person I couldn't identify in front of me. Maya's life was in terrible danger at the time. There's no way she could remember the details of the scene perfectly. Alright then, let's go on to the rest of the testimony. What did you do when you saw the red lights? Okay, and there's one more statement I wasn't sure about. She struck the enemy behind her. Red lights came out. How about that? Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. I think we need to learn more about that. What do you mean by just at that moment? Do you mean that moment when the red lights went out? Yes, that's right. The scream that you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice. What? A man's voice? So that scream came from the killer? That's gotta be it. I think Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken a blade and attacked the killer with it. And then the killer let out a scream of pain, huh? After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered a final blow. I guess. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems to make sense to me. It sounds like a reasonable deduction, but I still kind of wonder. No, I think there is a contradiction. I'm sorry to say this, but that interpretation will create an enormous contradiction. That makes sense. After all, my deductions are almost certainly never correct. Remember the testimony she gave. Before the killer let out a scream, Maya said she had already been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade and the staff had already been plunged into the victim. Ah, is that right? She couldn't have struck back with a sword that was already stuck in her own body. If she did, then holy crap, she must be resilient like no other. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, Trite. There's only one thing I can think of that could have been used as a weapon here. If Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed in the back by the staff, what else could she have used to strike back at the killer? Well, it could be that piece of... crap, there goes the emulator. I think I didn't press escape. I would have to do everything over again. We never, ever found out about this whole entire dagger, right? I mean, it's another weapon, and the blood doesn't match the victim's. So, could it be? Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime. Oh, that's right, I forgot about that. This dagger was found at the crime scene stuck into a pine tree. Yes, the detective found this in the morning and brought it to me. Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this, and she managed to wound him as well. Objection. Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. For all we know, the blood out of the dagger could have been from the victim. Have you forgotten that the blood had already been tested? Since we learned it wasn't the victim's blood, it must be the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound somewhere on his body. So you're saying the blood in this dagger belongs to the killer? Exactly. A DNA analysis of the blood would prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And yes, Mr. Godot, it will prove that it's your blood. Nice theory, Trite. Order! Order in the court! Is this the end? Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the results of a scientific test. Ha! Let me ask you something, Trite. Let's just say that it turned out that I was the killer. Do you really think I would be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? What? Just think for a second. This dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There was already a bloodstain on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom. Yes. What does that prove? Well, if I really were the killer, I could have washed the blade off and not planted another person's blood on it. It can't be! In any case, there's one thing I can guarantee, Trite. That blood, it doesn't belong to me. Not a chance! What? Oh, man. In any event, it seems to be established that the killer was wounded. Alright then, witness. Continue your testimony. Wait a minute! What's the problem? I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation. Maya! This dagger? You said it had wounded the killer. That's right. But, if Mr. Godot had really been cut with a dagger, his clothes would have been bloody or have a rip in them, right? Maya? Maybe he just changed his clothes. That solves the contradiction pretty easily. What are you talking about? It's not that simple at all. Remember back to the day of the murder. Everyone that was on the Inner Temple side got trapped there. That's right. And once the bridge was fixed and the police headed for the Inner Temple, Mr. Godot was already there waiting for them. He never had a chance to change his clothes. Ah! Oh, crap, Maya! Order! Order in the court! What the witness says is... Well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him. But no one could have predicted a lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone bring a broad change of clothes? Ugh. Did the judges take smart pills during the last recess? Kinda seems like it. Well then, maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. That way he couldn't get any blood on them. Objection. That's kind of stupid, Nick. That's impossible, Trite. You know how cold it gets up there late at night? After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'll be frozen solid. Duh! Oh, God. We're kind of grasping at for straws here. Ha! So that's all you've got. I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Ugh. Right now, if Mia Fey were here... she would have closed the book on this case already. If Mia Fey were here... So come on, Trite! Can you do it or not? How about it, Mr. Wright? You've accused Mr. Godot of being the killer. But can you prove it? Have you got even one piece of evidence? Oh. I think I'm going to enjoy this part coming up here. The question is whether I can prove it or not. The fact is, I have to prove it. That's the only choice I have. I was taught that it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. I can prove it. I'm gonna bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition, just as you want it! Oh my dear God. They're playing my favorite corner theme. When I first saw it and heard this, I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, the whole entire thing, I got so pumped up, and I'm pumped up right now. I mean, I know a lot of people have like their own opinion on like which one's their favorite theme, but this is my favorite corner theme. And when they played it here, I was like, ah! Ha! That's good. A fighter till the bitter end, Trite. Since there's just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, why don't we go for the unlimited penalty? Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? Because it doesn't matter to me. I've got the one piece of evidence I need. Give me a break! You've got nothing, Trite! So what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. I've got to think outside the box and approach this from a different angle. Alright then, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you got. There's one thing I demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on the dagger. But we decided it was impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he had been cut by a dagger, there should have been a blood stain on his clothing. There's one place the killer could have hidden his wound. What did you say? Hidden? There goes the theme. I don't think he's gonna play again, sadly. This is it. My last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle. I don't need to think about why there was no bloodstains on his clothing. I need to show how he hid the wound. Oh no, it's still there. Okay. I wonder when the theme's gonna cut out. I really hope it just keeps going on. It's the end of the line. The final stop, Trite. Let's hear what you got. Where's the location where you say the killer hid his wound? Now you guys notice this, right? Whole entire penalty box is blinking. You get this wrong, you're gonna get the bad ending. I don't want to get the bad ending. So, we want to say, where's the location where the killer hid the wound? Very easily, if we're accusing Godot, look at Godot, there's a big thing on his face where that could easily hide a wound. Ha! I don't know what you're talking about. And frankly, I don't need to know. What I do know is that you'll never be the half a lawyer she was. Isn't that right, Trite? I'm sure you all saw that too. And there goes the theme. What was that just now? Mia? It can't be. You're living on. Through him? Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. It's beneath your mask! During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you had a dagger wound under there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved. Crap. I think this whole entire thing blew up. And I think that solves it, guys. I know Maya's sad. He actually doesn't seem all that pissed, but, okay. Just now, I saw her spirit in you. I never liked you. 6 years ago, you helped a woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, while I was sleeping, you let Mia die. But you didn't care. You just kept living your pathetic, happy-go-lucky life. You even had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer. I could never forgive you. That's what I thought. Mr. Godot. But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. The truth is, the only person I could never find it in my heart to forgive was me. You? Yourself? I was the one that failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. I tried to avert my eyes from the truth, to escape from the harshness of reality. I just couldn't face Mia's death head on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask. I threw away my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit. But you saved Maya! Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway. What do you mean? Are you listening, Maya? If I had really wanted to save you, then there's one person I should have gone and talked to right away. Who would that be? Are you talking about Nick? But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother. And I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. And do you know why? The real reason? No. Why? I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all. Huh? I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia. Nothing more. That's why I let you walk into a situation I knew that was dangerous. Forgive me. You're wrong! You put your life on the line to save Maya! Was it really for Maya's sake? Even though I'm not really sure. What do you mean by that? That night, in the darkness of the garden when I saw her silhouette, a part of me just must have known the truth. The truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. It could have been Misty Faye, or even that little girl. But I still picked up that blade. It was like I was dreaming. I'm not sure exactly what was going on in my mind at that point. But I was really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Faye. Or was it something else? Was it my hatred for a woman who had stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Could it have been simply for a desire for revenge? And now, I don't know anything anymore. I did learn something today, however. I finally realized that I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. A stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from Mia's death. Instead, you picked up where she left off as a true defender of the people. In that one moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godot. I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando. Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me. Oh God, what the hell? I love how they finally changed his name back. Thanks. But your wound! It's bleeding! Did you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. These must be my tears. Tears? Ever since I woke up from my coma, I think I've been waiting for a moment, for this very moment. Mr. Armando! You do well remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. Parting words from a great man. And those are the same exact words that he said to Mia after our first trial. This time, it really is all over, isn't it? Defendant. Yes, Your Honor. Although you weren't directly involved in the murder, tampering with the body in the crime scene is a serious offense in itself. I understand, Your Honor. Mr. Armando explained it to me very carefully. I knew the risk, and I willingly cooperated anyway. Very well. Before I hand down my verdict, is there anything you'd like to say? Well, there is one thing. I'd like to say something to Mr. Wright. I want to apologize to you. Apologize? To me? For what? For the case 6 years ago, of course. I just remembered. Weren't you poisoned by your own lover? Not exactly, but yeah, something like that. Even now, 6 years later, I can hardly believe it. She was gonna do it. She was planning to kill me. It's not all that surprising. The two of you hardly knew each other. Huh? What do you mean? You and my sister? You only met twice. Huh? But we only met twice? The first time you met was on that fateful day? The day she poisoned Mr. Armando in the cafeteria of this very courthouse. The next time you met her was 6 months later. You met her again on the day that she stole your cold medicine. And Doug Swallow was killed. No way! It can't be true! I mean, during our whole relationship, we were... For those 6 months, the woman that you thought was Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister. Huh? It wasn't Dahlia! I hope one day you can forgive me, Feeny. You mean... That's right. I lied to you. For 6 months. But why? Why would you do such a thing? Ever since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could. Because of that police investigation and her surveillance, she couldn't move about freely. So that's why you... My sister, from the beginning, she was prepared for the worst. Prepared for the worst? She thought that you might somehow discover the truth. That's why she was always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice. You mean she was ready to kill me, don't you? She already had so much to answer for. I didn't want any more sins on her soul. I begged her not to do it, and she agreed to give me a chance. And that's why you came to me? You came to get the bottle pendant back from me in her place? But I couldn't get you to give it back. I failed at something even as simple as that. 6 months passed and I still couldn't get it back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about her plans for you that day. It was the first time that had ever happened. That was a bit strange, wasn't it? Up until that day, you two were partners in crime and she would confer with you. I think she must have noticed. Noticed what? My feelings for you. If I had found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever was necessary to stop her. Even if it meant her life. Or mine. Iris! After spending half a year by your side, my feelings towards you, they changed. I have something to say to you too. Yes? You really are the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, I still believed in you. Thank you. How many cups of darkness how many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. I'll tell you though, right now, this one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. Don't you think so? Phoenix Wright? Yes! Yes, that is one badass moment right there. Yeah, I think you're right. The purpose of this trial is to rule on the murder of the victim, Elise Donin. At some point, I expect you to be tried for your role as accomplice in this case. I understand, Your Honor. Very well. On the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant, one more time, guys, not guilty. Wait a minute. Damn it, where's my confetti? Okay, whatever. We're not going to get it. Court is now adjourned. They took my confetti. Ugh. Alright, guys. After all that time, it's finally over. All those plot twists has finally come to a close. And, yeah. There we go. What else is there to say? Next time, it's just going to be the finale of this game. Pretty much just going over the celebration and, yeah. I mean, I probably could do it in this one video, but I want to have, like, a purely fun, like, final video for everything concluding just right. So, as usual, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for the finale of Let's Play Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. I'll see you guys later.